Hello my fellow book nerds. In this video I'm going to do a book review on the last book of the Heroes of Olympus series, The Blood of Olympus. This book is really good, but I also have some criticisms about it, so let's just dive right into it. I wanted to talk first about the story of this book. I figured it was going to be a really hard book. A really hard book to write because, I mean, it's the last book of a series of 5 books. You have to pretty much sum up everything with all the characters and also make sure you have a good story to tell in it, and every character has to have a good arc. So this story does it pretty well, I must admit, because I mean each character, even though it's small, or some have obviously larger arcs that he wants to talk about and some of them very small ones, he does it pretty well. Each character is done well and settings and everything are pretty good. I would say they're pretty good. So overall in that part I'm okay. I think it's good. But let's get into the important part, which is the characters. We all love the characters in these books and we had to say goodbye to them. That's the sad part because there's nothing left. That's why I always hate the end of a series. It's just so sad that you don't learn anything about these characters anymore. It's just what you got and that's it. So let's start off with Reina, because I think she's a very prominent character in this book, probably one of the biggest ones. So let's start off with her. Right off the bat, we know, and spoilers if you haven't read it, she doesn't end up with anyone, which I find completely fine. I think it's quite logical that she doesn't end up with anyone because in life in general, not everyone ends up with someone. So it's really nice that he actually puts a character that doesn't end up with anyone. But let's go to the more important parts about her. She pretty much goes through the part where every character goes through, that they have to deal with their past and having to, like her past is kind of pretty much forced on her, and so she has to deal with it. Pretty much everything that happened with her dad and her sister, which her sister's she's okay. I'm not a big fan. I like Reina more. But she has to deal with her past and she does it quite well, even though obviously everyone is scared to look at their past and see what they did wrong, and they don't really want to go back there. But every character, every hero usually has to go through this, and she does, and she does amazingly well. She's forced to go back to her house, pretty much, where she lived, and she ended up running away from... She doesn't face her dad, thank goodness, because that'd be very creepy, but she does see ghosts, and those ghosts are still there that her dad brought up. If you haven't read the book, you're probably wondering what the heck is going on. It makes sense at the end, but definitely she does that very well, and she does overcome it. And in the end, she does actually beat the giant that is against her. The one that was supposed to confront Artemis. Out of all the giants, each giant is for one god, and I don't remember his name, but she kills the one that goes against Artemis. Nico, we love Nico. Though, like, my heart just goes out to this kid because he goes through so much. But, okay. I think the best thing about him in his character arc is just that he is able to finally accept love from other people, friendship. Well, eventually we're just given like a hint of hopefully that he will find, a partner. So that's like, we're hoping for that. But he doesn't say for sure that he ends up with the guy. But I love that he's able to finally accept friendship from Reina, from the Coach Hedge, and eventually like be able to confront Percy about his feelings and not care anymore, but realize that Percy's not for him. So it's really nice. I definitely love Nico. He overcomes so much and so much pain and having to shadow travel everywhere. Like, he's probably like one of the strongest characters in the whole series because of how much he goes through, and he's very powerful, and the strength he has to admit, even though he he's portrayed, well, he's told that he's scrawny and looks weak, but is not. Don't underestimate Nico. He is amazing. You have to go through these quite faster. Leo, my favorite character. I don't know why I love him so much. Maybe it's just his personality, how kind of crazy he is, and the jokes he tells. He's definitely my favorite one, and I'm so happy. I didn't realize that I didn't mention him and Calypso in the last book review video when I talked about the House of Hades. I honestly thought, like, in my head, I thought that he met her in this book, but it's not. He meets her in the last one. Very sad. But he meets Calypso, and he wants to so bad return to her. So he does make an oath, and that is the one that is portrayed as keeping an oath with the final breath. So he pretty much has to die to get her again, to go back to her, which he does, because it's so sad. Though I'm not very satisfied with the final battle, he has to die to be able to actually kill, can't say her name, Gaia, that Gaea, don't know how to say her name. He is able to completely destroy her, even though I was quite shocked at how fast everything happened in the end. So I don't know, I didn't like that part that much, but he sacrificed himself, and that is an amazing thing. And then at the end, he does have the, what do they call it? Not the elixir of life. That's Harry Potter. The physician's cure. He does have that, so he's able to pretty much come back to life, which Festus gives it to him, and go back to Calypso, and he ends up with her, which is so sweet. I love that he was able to close, like, the story of Calypso with Leo. I think it's very awesome. Another thought with Leo, it probably, okay, if it was like an adult book, not for children, probably would have been a lot better if he stayed dead. But it is a children's book, so, you know, everyone lives through every battle, you know, even though it's very hard for them to get through it. I understand that, but since it is a children's book, everyone's alive. But he probably should have actually died. Probably. Percy and Annabeth, Hazel and Frank. I put these two couples together because in the last book they were pretty much done with their character arc. In this book they do have like many things that going on, like Hazel and Frank. Leo trusted them with his idea of dying, that he was the one that was he chose pretty much to die, and he told only Hazel and Frank. So that was like their mini arc part of it. There was more, obviously, but I'm not going to get into it. And Percy and Annabeth, pretty much, it's just dealing with little things in their relationship. Percy having to not be the hero at the end because he was not able to choose not to. Okay, his fatal flaw is always going to his friends' needs, like always being there for his friends, always doing everything he can for them. So he is not, that's his fatal flaw, which is fascinating, right? It's such a weird one, but it is. So in this book he was not able to save everyone because he wasn't able to save Leo, and he was not in the final battle because he couldn't do that. That's why it was Piper, Jason, and Leo instead of Percy and Annabeth, which honestly, they just needed a break. Poor things, they just came back from Tartarus. It's fine that he did not give them such a big role in this book, because he gave them massive role in the next one, in the last one. So definitely okay, though we love Percy and Annabeth and we just want to see more of them. Yeah, I definitely wanted to see more of them, but it's okay. And lastly, Jason and Piper. I will admit that these two are not my favorite characters, because they're like Barbie and Ken. They are beautiful, looks like they have everything put together and all that, right? Though through the books he obviously explains and shows who they really are, which is great because Piper is actually an amazing character, and so Jason is the one that I'm like, he's okay. He's like, I don't know how to make him better. Like, I have no idea what I would do, but I like that in the end he pretty much takes up the role of Percy, what he did in the last 5 books, where he tries to make sure that all the gods are taken into account so that they are not forgotten, and so therefore hopefully the recognition helps them to not go back into war and support an evil person just because the gods didn't consider them. So I like that idea, and that Jason also accepts that he will be Roman and Greek, that he will not just choose one side, he will be both. Piper, I like that she grows up and actually becomes a warrior instead of just being the talker. I think that's really great. Also, I think that she has to kind of like confront fear. She's the only one that could have been able to do that because she's very emotionally intelligent. That is what she is. Like Annabeth is the smart one. She is like, she has a high IQ. Piper, on the other hand, has a high EQ, or emotional intelligence, right? So they are able to work together very well because they're able to work off these two things that you need. So I do like that about Piper, that she's emotionally intelligent and she's able to, I mean, she does play a kind of big role in the end. I understand that he wants all those three to be the ones to finish the story. My reaction to these books, I'll tell you pretty much what I loved and what I didn't like. I did not like that it took so long to finally get to the battle. Like, I understand they needed the physician's cure, that they needed that, and it took pretty much half of the book to get them there. And I love the whole thing with Reyna, Nico, and Coach Hedge, where they have to take the statue back to Camp Half-Blood. But it just took so long, and then in the end, all of a sudden, the gods show up. Like, I don't know, it was just all filled in like 1 chapter, 2 chapters, I think. So that part I didn't like. It was just not enough, I guess. Too short. Didn't like that part. Comparing it to The Last Olympian, because it is the final book of the 5. It's the final book, and The Last Olympian is the last book also. So comparing them both, I would say that I like The Last Olympian more because it feels like an actual war is going on. And it's not just 7 people trying to fight everything. It's a war. I mean, it makes sense in the end, but I don't know. It's just not as satisfactory, I guess it would be. Because I feel like more people died in the last 5 books than in this one. And that makes more sense. I don't know. That's one of the things I definitely think about. That the other one is probably better, which is fine. But he did sum it up all quite well. I love that Leo ends up with Calypso. I love that Percy and Annabeth hopefully finally get a break. And I like that Reyna has to look more into herself and take care of herself in the end more, because she is trying so hard to help everyone else and not have enough for herself. Does that make sense? Self-care. Importance of self-care. Okay, so that is it for this book. I don't know why I put it down. That's for this book, and we finished the series, thank goodness. I love these books, and they're literally the ones that got me into reading, so I love them to death. Tell me what you think about these books, and see, comparing them to the first 5 books, what do you think this one compared to the other one, to the last Olympian? I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know down below, and I will start a new series in the next book review. I don't know. I'm not completely sure which one yet. I haven't chosen, but I'll let you know. But thank you for watching. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys.